Round 8 of the Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship Five Nations Trophy comes to a head at Lydden Hill this weekend. It is time for the Supernational Final. It's going to be interesting to see how this one works out. Paige Bellamy in the Lotus, making her return to competition this year after sitting most of it out, has got Slamir Volok and Nick Nayens for company on the front row of the grid. Then row 2, we've got Dave Van Beers in the 29 and Darren Scott alongside him. So 5 cars ready to go for this final. It's all eyes then to the lights as the marshal points to it, and we get ready to see what is going to be happening. Slamir Volok with the title chance. Revs are rising. Drivers are ready. We're ready here to go. Green light on. Good start from Volok off the middle of the front row. Keep an eye out though for Bellamy in the second phase of it, because that Lotus is as light as anything and she gets the whole shot in towards the first corner, but Volok holds it around the outside. There's a bit of contact as he tries to close the line there. Nick Nayens trying to go around the outside of those two as well. We're 3 wide coming into the second part of Talladega. Contact between Bellamy and Nayens as well sends Bellamy facing the wrong way and into the barrier. So over the jump it is Volok that leads from Nick Nayens, from Darren Scott, from Dave Van Beers, and disaster for Paige Bellamy in the Lotus on her return to competition. She is out of any contention for victory in this race as Slamir holds firm in the race lead for now, and you wonder whether the likes of Darren Scott, etc., are going to be able to get themselves in the party as Bellamy crawls her way to the side of the circuit and is out of the race. Darren Scott there in the Super 1600 spec C2 takes his joker. We saw that just a few moments ago. You saw a for sale sign on the back of the car there as well. So hopefully it's in the same shape it started in if he's trying to flog the car at the end of this season. There is Nick Nayens in the Supernational Ford Escort Mark II. Incredibly fast machine. Incredibly light as well, of course. And you can see him closing up onto the back of Slamir Volok through the jump and into the Devil's Elbow, but Volok's straight line speed in the BMW M3 is incredibly fast, as we know. V8 engine underneath the front bonnet of that car, and it's just no match for the Mark II Escort in a straight line. Good to see Dave Van Beers back out in the Clio as well, as Nayens goes into the Joker then. Where's he going to emerge in relation to Van Beers and Scott? It's going to be pretty close between the two, but I think he's just going to get ahead. Yes, he is. Nicely done there for Nick Nayens. Timed that very well, because if he got himself behind Van Beers, or indeed worse, Darren Scott, could have been very costly. Slightly wide there on Talladega, but he'll gather that up pretty nicely. Gets himself back onto the low pedal, and now the question is he going to be able to close up any meaningful gap onto the back of Volok before Volok makes his joker and challenge for the victory? Well, Van Beers is right over the back of the Mark II Escort like a bad rash. Now let's see whether he is going to be able to challenge for that second place as they come up the top of Harry Hill into the North Bend. It's defensive line there for Nayens as he kicks up the front wheel on the curb, and he holds firm for now. That's kind of Dave Van Beers' chance over for the time being as Volok goes into the Joker. This is where that M3 struggles though. It's not as agile as the Escort and the likes of the C2 as well as the Clio of Dave Van Beers. Van Beers is not giving up this second place without a fight. Oh, wide there for Nayens as well, as the door is open for Van Beers. He goes through on the inside. Is Darren Scott going to join in the party as well? He certainly is in the Super 1600 Citroen C2. So 2 places lost in the space of 1 corner there for Nick Nayens, who gets it crossed up on the exit of the jump there as well. Has to get it out of the throttle, and that just goes to show how one mistake can cost you very, very dearly indeed. Nick Nayens going from second down into 4th position, as Volok, after having made his joker, still has a nice comfortable cushion. His lap times have been nearly 3 seconds a lap quicker than the likes of Van Beers and Nayens behind, so incredibly fast at particular points over the course of this race for Slamir Volok, and he's able to mount the curbs. The longer wheelbase of that M3, though it's not as agile as I mentioned earlier on, it's really good at soaking up the bumps and just being that little bit more stable on the loose surface. And of course, added with that power that Volok has underneath his right foot as well, he's really able to take advantage at circuits like Lydden Hill. At tighter circuits like Pembrey though, that's where he begins to struggle, because as I say, it's just not quite able to have the same bite as the shorter wheelbase cars, the likes of the Clios and the C2s as well, especially considering the fact that normally you have the likes of Jason and Darren Bleasdale in their Vauxhall VX220s, and sometimes Bellamy in her Lotus Elise as well, or exceeds rather I should say, as Van Beers goes into the Joker from second place. Where's he going to emerge in relation to Darren Scott? I think Scott's going to get the advantage. He is, so that's really good for Darren Scott in his final race in the Super 1600 Citroen C2, but can he stay there? That's the crucial question as they come through into Talladega. Scott slightly wide, only front wheel drive of course, that Super 1600 car. So let's see whether Van Beers can launch a challenge. Over the exit of the jump we go, through into the left-hander. Straight line speed of that Citroen C2 is nothing to sniff your nose up at. An equal match for that Clio as well. I believe that's a 197 Clio, so that's a 2-litre naturally aspirated car. 197 referring to the number of horsepower that the car has, as Volek then comes through in towards the final series of corners, ready to start his last lap of the race. Through across the gravel we go. The last lap has begun then with Slamir Volek leading the way very commandingly. Van Beers still piling the pressure onto the back of Darren Scott for second place. An opportunity here maybe as the door is opened. Bit of contact between the two as they head towards the jump, but Darren Scott holds on to second place for now. As they come onto the left-hander of the Devil's Elbow, though, it'll be all about the exit of this left-hander for Darren Scott. If he can hold firm, Van Beers slightly understeering through there. That could be enough of an opportunity for Darren Scott to hold on to second place as they come into the North Bend. Van Beers is closing, but he's not close enough as Volek slides his way down through into the final couple of corners. It's going to be a victory for Volek here at Lydden Hill and the title in 2023 in Supernational, but Darren Scott comes over the line in second place ahead of Dave Van Beers as well. What a quite brilliant race in Supernational ahead of Nick Nayans in fourth position. What a great race, what a great way to end the season in this class. Slamir Volek is crowned as the 2023 Supernational British Rallycross champion here at Lydden Hill and does some donuts to celebrate. What a season, bring it on in 2024.